What the heck is going on out here? These guys are more distracted than a bunch of cats playing laser tag.
They heard all the pundits saying we suck.
Pundits.
You were a pundit.
I'd want to be a central attacking midfielder because but that's way too much running. Like, I wish I could just like sit in the middle and just be like, Grand Central Station. The ball comes through me and then I put it out this way. I think of like, the great, funny men from the Harlem Globetrotters, like Goose Gossage, or like Meadowlark Lemon, excuse me, like who would just sort of sit at the top of the key. Basketball court's much smaller than a football pitch, and you can do that. They can sort of be the the hub, the keystone that things go through. That's what my gut would want to do. That's what my heart would want to be. My body is just like, are you kidding me? I'd run 10 feet and just be like winded, and the ball would come at me and I'd flinch. So I guess just for mere like, and yet I don't want to be goalie because then that's too much pressure, but you do have access to your water bottle and that's nice. You get to wear a long sleeve shirt. That's, that's better in colder climate. I don't know. I guess striker for the glory.
Well, hey, how about this one? Regarding my panic attacks, I've had more psychotic episodes than Twin Peaks.
Ted takes the responsibility of being a coach, and specifically a soccer/football coach, not more seriously, because I think he always took it seriously, but with a level of curiosity that Nate's absence probably allows. I think Ted is willing and able, and maybe even has a gift for delegating and encouraging people to become the best version of themselves, by their own measure, not by his necessarily. And with Nate's departure, it leaves space for, in the realms of tactics, if you will, like just straight up, like, the style of play that the team's going to use. It leaves space for exploration and for Ted to walk the walk of, being curious and not judgmental.
I'm Brazilian, so in Brazil, football is a big issue, So, but at the same time, I was struggling like 2 seasons ago to convince people in Brazil to watch Ted Lasso, because it's not about football, and it is about football, but it's not only about it. Like, it's about so much more. So I wish you could, talk a little bit about it. Like, you in this season's, you're kind of like a turncoat, but a bad turncoat, I can feel, because you empathize for you still empathize for your friends, they are not your enemies. So you're talking about a lot of stuff, in your character. So I wish you could talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we joined Nate in season 3 at another sort of turning point in his life. Obviously, he started off in season 1 as the sort of lowly kit man, and Ted comes into his life, empowers him, ultimately promotes him to coach, which is this really, life-affirming sort of moment for Nate. But then, sadly, in season 2, that little bit of responsibility, a little bit of power, and so on, and vanity goes to his head, and quite quickly, he takes a sort of turn for the worse, and there's a sort of downward trajectory of him sort of displaying far more toxic behavior and hating on Ted, and ultimately betraying him and going to the rival team, West Ham, under Rupert, who is by no means a force for good at all. And so, that's where we find Nate at the start of this season. But I mean, I guess in terms of trying to sort of empathize with the character, I think that was part of the challenge, was to sort of make that that journey as believable as possible. And I think for a lot of people it was a real gut punch, because they did feel betrayed by Nate, because they'd been really rooting for him when he was that underdog in season 1, such that when he does ultimately betray Ted in such a kind of cruel and vindictive way at the end of season 2, it just feels like, well, there's no going back for this character. He's sort of done the sort of most unforgivable thing. But like with Ted Lasso, not everything is as it seems, and I think season 3 we kind of largely explore our capacity for forgiveness and you know, Nate has so much soul searching to do. I think ultimately his behavior really stems from the toxic relationship he has with his dad. Not to condone his actions or to sort of, you know, he made the decisions that he made, and he does need to he needs to personally account for what he's done. So not to just sort of just blame his dad outright or anything like that. But yes, I always tried to sort of find a place for Nate such you could almost sort of empathize with what he did, even though you wouldn't necessarily make those decisions yourself.
We get to see the team, the community, the you know, the chosen family of AFC Richmond, the Greyhounds, from you know, the team itself to the coaching staff to the, you know, the brass, as we call them, you know, Rebecca and Higgins and Keely Jones. We get to see them deal with influences, both positive and negative, and discerning whether those, what is right, what is the best fit for them to succeed in whatever definition success is for you.
Beard is one of my favorite characters because I love the way he's not positive, as Ted, you know, not smiley, very mysterious, but at the same time, the screaming part. I love the screams, you know, like every time you scream, I'm like, it feels like the first time. Is it a way, you know, how did you come up with the screams? And in this season, he screams a lot. How did you come up with this? You know, it's a way to show he has emotions. You know what I mean? Like, I really love that.
Yeah, well, thanks, Flavia. It really is just something that was in the script. And like I hadn't been in whatever writing session put that in the script. I was somewhere else doing something. And, you know, get the script, and, you know, Ted says thing about Zava, Beard screams. And I'm like, oh, I got to scream? Oh, gosh. Ooh. In fact, I think I even was like, shouldn't I just say something here? Wouldn't that make more sense? And everyone was like, no, scream. I'm like, fine. And yeah, it turns out people get a kick out of that. So we had them keep doing it. But yeah, you never know how these things are going to turn out.
Yeah, but it's a funny way, you know, like I think I was talking to the other actors and we were talking about how Ted Lasso is about football or soccer for Americans, but it's not about football at the end of the day. It's about friendship, relationships, and also fragility and masculinity. You know what I mean? Like men can be more, you know, fragile in a good way. So I love this, like you created this screen, because it's like it shows his emotions. You know what I mean? I know it's supposed to be funny, but at the end of the day, it works as well. So
thank you. Yeah, you know, I mean, Beard contains multitudes. You know, he may have won a lumberjack competition at some point in his life, and he may have certain masculine things, but he's still in touch with his emotions, especially when they're about people breaking up.
Yeah, for sure. And you're one of the creators of the show. How do you feel about, you know, this universe, this football universe, to talk about emotions, but also, you know, the season? I hope it's not the final one. You know, I'm already melancholic, I told the other guys. But how do you feel about this third season?
Oh, I mean, I feel very grateful and fortunate that we were able to get this many seasons, and be able to tell the story as we originally imagined it. I think this season, at the very least, I think this season holds up compared to our first two. But yeah, in terms of whether there's more, we're gonna wait and see. We're gonna take a break after this, and we'll decide later. But in terms of like, yeah, the giganticness of what this thing has become, I mean, it's just so unexpected and heartwarming, and just very, 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 very grateful for people to have, you know, not only enjoyed our little comedy, but also to have, you know, found such meaning in it. That's a rare and wonderful thing.
True, especially in a comedy. Like, and I love, you know, the pair, you know, the partnership between you and Teddy and Jason, you know, like you both up and high and down, you know, like how do you feel about this partnership?
Oh, it's great. I mean, you know, I like the dynamic between the characters, and it's just, you know, incredible, rare and wonderful thing to be able to be working day in, day out with someone who I've known for so long and been working with from such a long time, but never worked on with the day-to-day intensity of this. And now we've been doing it 3 seasons and we don't hate each other yet. So yeah, and we must have done okay.
Which is a lot. You don't hate each other yet.
There's still time.
Great,
There's still time.
yeah, there's always time, but great accomplishment.
Great job. Oh, Roy Kent just said great job.
That Lasso is about football, but it's about a lot of stuff like friendship, love. So how do you handle this character? You know, he's so warm and I love him.
No, I think this, like you said, the show does a really good job of, kind of Trojan horsing these really important and universal themes about family and love and friendship and curiosity. Like it does a good job, like funneling all of these like really universal themes in through the guise of this football comedy about this American coach who doesn't get it and all of this stuff. So yeah, again, that's like testament to our creative team and the Sam Obisanya of it all. I again just feel really privileged to be able to play this part and tell this story. He's such a unique character. It's been great to go on this journey with him and watch him like find himself and like grow into manhood through these 3 seasons. And yeah, I'm excited to show the rest of the world the final stage of his growth in season 3.
How do you feel about season 3? I was talking to Nick and I told him there was a feeling melancholic because it was supposed to be the final decision finale, which I hope not, but but how did you feel about it?
I mean, we don't know whether or not it will be the final season yet. I think for me, the main thing that I tried to do was just stay present and stay in the moment and be there on the day. Like the most important thing was season 3 and telling that story, and we didn't really have time to worry about whether it was going to be the final one or not. So I'll leave that to the decision makers. And right now, I'm just really excited to tell the season 3 story. I love you guys so very much.
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
I love you guys very much.
Listen, this season in particular, I think it delivers in so many ways, and certainly when we kind of came to the end of filming, because it had been a particularly long shoot, 8 months or so. It was really emotional at the end. It was a really emotional day, and these people, I think the cast and crew, we're kind of friends for life now because we spent so much time together, and they're such a wonderful bunch. And if I take anything away from my experience of Ted Lasso, it'll be have gotten to work with those wonderful people. We're like a family now, really.